So how can donors support reforms that improve learning outcomes at scale? This was broadly the motivating question for our chapter. And this really started with the realization that we have a sense today about what works to improve learning outcomes in pilots, in implementer-led models. So take, for instance, structured pedagogy. This type of intervention has worked relatively reliably in a range of contexts in whole classroom settings. However, we know much less about how to make this work in government-led models and government-led systems at an ongoing affordable cost. So because figuring out locally how to adapt an intervention and get implementation right is no simple feat, I think that some of the principles that are described in this book and in our joint chapters may be a helpful start of the discussion. So two of these principles stuck with me. The first one is around bringing the perspective of a broader range of stakeholders into the design and to iterate on the implementation of a reform. So take, for instance, rural teachers. A reform that works will need to address her needs, boost her motivation, and improve her teaching day in, day out. So understanding very well her perspective is key. And that's true also for district officials, school leaders, and so on. The second principle is around the need for tight feedback loop. One message that stuck with me was around the fact that to oversimplify, we broadly have no idea about how a given reform will play out in a new context. And so there's a need for humility and for bringing back as much information as soon as possible to iterate on design. And this, obviously means more implementation research. It also means, more on-the-ground program management with, for instance, central teams going to classroom to see how things are actually going.